The stranger. My classmates and I did not like the new boy, David. It was not because we knew he was a bad boy, or because he had done any one of us any harm. We only knew we did not like him. He was a stranger in our barrio, and we did not like strangers. Ours was a little barrio where everybody knew everybody else. I knew all my classmates and their fathers and their mothers, and their brothers and their sisters. And I was sure that my classmates knew me and my father and my mother and my brothers and sisters. But we knew nothing about David or his father or his mother. We only knew that they had come at the beginning of the school year, and that they were renting the big house at the bend of the road. My father said that they had come from Pampanga, and that David's father was in charge of repairing the old bridge across Malabon River. So we all eyed David with suspicion. Whenever he tried to smile at us, we looked at one another and then lowered our eyes. We did not like any better when we found out that he could answer the teacher's questions readily than we could. He was, we decided, showing off. He wanted to be the teacher's pet. We never asked David to play with us. He had to sit under the big acacia tree in the schoolyard and watch us play. We gave one another guavas and other fruits at recess, but we never offered David any. One day, however, David brought a great big package to school. We were all curious about what the package contained, but we tried hard not to show our curiosity. At recess, David approaches us, shouting, "Hey fellows, want any?" Then he opened the package. It was full of puto seco, the most tempting I had seen in all my life. "Where did you get it?" I asked. "My grandmother sent it to me," David replied. "She made it herself. Here, take some. It's very good." And he thrust a handful into my hands. I put a piece of puto seco into my mouth. It was very good. I took another bite, and another, and another. "Hey fellows," I said, looking around. "Good, isn't it?" My classmates could only nod their heads in approval. Their mouths were too full. I looked at David. He was smiling, and his eyes were shining. "Like it?" he asked. "Yes, very much," I answered. "Did you say your grandmother made it herself?" "Surely," David replied. "She can make other things too, donuts and sweets and other things." I said. "She must be good." It was wonderful what handful of puto seco could do. David suddenly became very interesting to us. He was no longer so stranger, although his accent was still rather funny to our ears. We soon found out, too, that David was very entertaining. He told us about his hometown, San Fernando. It was very much like Malabon, he said. He told us about the games that his friends used to play. Then it turned out that David had been to many places because of his father's job. The family had to move about. David had lived in Bacolod, Zamboanga, Apari, and many other places we had only read in our geography books. Goodness! We had thought that those names only stood for little marks on the map. Now we learned from David that they were actual towns with houses and people entries, and schools and churches. One day, David took us to his house. He is the only child of the family, and he had lots of toys. He had a pop gun and a small bicycle and small trucks and toy trains. There was huge case full of them. His mother was very kind, very much like our mothers. We had thought Pampango mothers must be different, but she was not. She was very fond of David. She said she was glad he had found new playmates. She wanted David to be happy. She thanked us for being nice to him, and we felt rather guilty of the way we had treated David at the beginning of the school year. Then she gave us good food, hot chocolate, and suman, and some preserves that she said had come from Pampanga. My, but Pampangos could make good preserves. They melt in the mouth. Even my mother could not make any better, and I could see that the other boys enjoyed the merienda as much as I did. Afterwards, David showed us pictures of places he and his family had lived. There was a picture of him on a horseback and his mother standing beside the horse. There was another picture of him in swimming trunks. "Do you swim?" I asked. "I like swimming a lot," David said. "My father taught me how to swim when I was taught, and I've gone swimming with my friends." In Bacolod, we also went banca riding. It was a great fun. "We go swimming here too," I said. "Suppose we go next Saturday. The tide will be high, I'm sure, and we can borrow my uncle's banca. We'll take some food with us, and we'll eat on a salambao." So the following Saturday, we started rather early. There were 6 of us. We took my uncle's boat and paddled out to the Dagat-Dagatan. There, we tied the boat on a salambao, put our supply of food in a neat little pile, took off our clothes, and dived into the water. David was a good swimmer. He could swim faster than any of us. His strokes were good. He said he had learned them in a summer camp in Laguna. He had good teacher, he said. By noon, we were tired and hungry. We decided to rest and eat. But where is Pendong? "Pendong!" we called. "Pendong, where are you?" No one answered. We became afraid. What had happened to Pendong? He was the smallest of us, and he was not a good swimmer. "There he is!" cried David. "Oh my goodness, he seems to be sinking. Pendong has swum out too far. He was in great danger." But no one dared to go out for him. We were all tired out, and no one could swim that far. "I'll go," said David, and he plunged into the water. We held our breath as we watched him. What if he did not reach Pendong in time? The poor fellow seemed to be having a hard time keeping himself afloat. But David was swimming as I had not seen him swim before. His feet churned the water like a propeller of a steamboat. His strokes were beautiful to see. All we could do was to shout encouragement to him. We hoped that we would reach Pendong in time. He did, and in one voice, we shouted with relief. Now, David was putting his left arm around Pendong's neck expertly to prevent Pendong from holding on to his. Slowly and laboriously, he was swimming back towards the salambao. But would he? Could he? We asked ourselves anxiously, ever reach his goal with his burden? Then, for the first time, I saw the boat tied to the salambao. We had forgotten all about it in our excitement. Now, hurriedly, we untied it, and we jumped into it. Then, furiously, we paddled towards David, who was beginning to show signs of weakening. Soon, we had hauled first Pendong and David into the boat. In a little while, we were back on the Salambao. Nobody talked. We all watched fascinated as David, with the same skill he had shown in rescuing Pendong. David was the talk of the school the following Monday. Everybody looked at him now with pride. He was a hero.